Warning: use professional supervision when creating equipment. This project has been rated normal.
You're probably wondering where I got these Buff Dude dumbbells. What, are Buff Dudes releasing their own line of equipment now? Well, not yet. These dumbbells you can make yourself at home, and I'm going to show you how. We're going to start with the pipe we're going to use for the handle for the dumbbell. Now this is 3/4 inch conduit. It's the cheapest pipe you can buy. It's even cheaper in plastic. For 10 feet of it you can get it for $5.99. That's at the hardware store where I go. So we're going to take a section of it. We're going to cut it for the handle of the dumbbell. And the section we're going to cut is actually going to be, shaky hands, 16 inches. We're going to cut 16 inches of this 3/4 inch electrical conduit, and that's going to be our handle. So let's go ahead and cut it. It's way easier in a vise, but you can do it by holding on to the pipe. It wants to vibrate a lot. But anyway, there's our 16 inch section of 3/4 inch conduit. So we're going to take that, and then we're going to drill a hole in both ends. Those holes are going to allow a 1/4 inch bolt to go through. That's going to anchor it in the plastic tubs we're going to use for the dumbbells. Okay, and there it is. 1/4 inch drill bit with our drill drilled a 1/4 inch hole. So with the 1/4 inch hole, we're going to take the 1/4 inch bolt, which has a nut on it already. This is like an all thread bolt. We're going to slip that into the hole. That is going to stay there. Then we're going to go ahead and thread that other nut on there. That's our anchor. That's going to go inside the tub once we pour the concrete. And that way, this will not come out of the concrete. Otherwise, this pipe would just slip out. And like say you're doing pulls, guess what's going to happen? That chunk of concrete is going to hit you in the face. So let's go ahead and mix up some concrete. That's the fun part. These containers I got for $1 a piece at a place called a dollar store or wherever. You can get them, they're really cheap because they're plastic. And this happens to be a 2-quart container, or for those who like to use the liter system, it is 2,000 milliliters. So what we're going to do is pour 16 ounces of water, or 500 milliliters of water, and then the rest is going to be with concrete. Now the concrete is cheap also. It's like a fence grade concrete. It's usually for setting fence posts and those kind of things. For an 80-pound sack, you can get it for usually less than $4. Or you can buy a 60-pound sack for like under $3 sometimes. Just depends upon where you get it. But let's just say $5 for that. But 80 pounds is going to make a lot of dumbbells. The dumbbell we're going to make is going to be a 20-pound dumbbell, 10 pounds on each side. So each one of these 2-quart containers will be about 9 pounds. And then with the pipe and that kind of thing, it's going to come out to about 20 pounds exactly. So let's go ahead and mix this up. Okay, we've got the water in here. Now we're going to pour the concrete. And what you want to do is pour this in kind of slowly. This is going to be really dusty, so if you're doing it at home, you might want to do it outside, especially if your little guys or little dudes or dudettes are helping you. So we'll pour a little in, then we'll mix it up. Now, a little water goes a long ways when it comes to the concrete. You can see it doesn't even look like there's hardly any concrete in there at all. We'll mix it up a little more and pour some more concrete. Now this concrete has small rocks and pebbles. That adds to the strength. So we'll get it up there ways and then start mixing it again. Oh, it's looking good now. It's like a Buff Dude protein shake, but don't drink it. A lot of times too, if you get it on your hands, it'll dry your hands out. So if you want to, you can wear gloves. That's a good idea. There's a big chunk of it right there that needs mixed up. Okay, mixed up pretty good. I'm going to pour the last little bit in there. Pretty much all the way to the top. Okay, now we're getting a good mixture. All the water's starting to absorb into the concrete now. And we can add just a little more concrete there. This is looking good. Okay, we've got the concrete mixed up. It's ready to go. It's a good consistency for putting the pipe in. First thing we want to do before we do that is go ahead and put a hole in the lid. So we're going to take the pipe, put it right there, and we're going to mark it. Put a mark around it. Then we're going to cut it with our utility knife. We're going to want to make very sure we're very careful with this thing because it's very sharp. Okay, again, we want to be very careful with this. I'm going to go ahead and just make an X. And remember, you can drill this out too if you have a bigger drill bit, but those bigger drill bits are really expensive. There. It doesn't have to be precise because the concrete's going to dry and it's not going to go anywhere anyway. So we're going to go ahead and put that through there. Perfect. Now we're going to put this in the concrete. See, the moisture is rising to the top, which is good. That means they'll be drying soon. Twisting that in there into the bottom part. Now to straighten it, you can go ahead and kind of screw the lid on. That looks pretty straight. Now, you let it set up. And the one thing about concrete is the moisture has to go out of it, so once it sets up a little bit, it's not yet, but once it does and this thing's centered, then you can take the lid off and let the moisture come out, and that way it'll set up hard. And you'll notice too, this will start to turn gray. You'll see little moisture bubbles and things like that. Don't worry about that. This thing's going to get hard as a rock or hard as concrete. Just let it dry a day. You can leave it outside, put it in the sun, or if there's no sun, leave it inside near a warm place or whatever, but I gave it a day, and then you're ready to do the other side. One thing you want to remember when you do the other side is to cut the hole in the lid and put it onto the pipe first before you put it in the concrete, because once it's in there, you won't be able to get the lid on, obviously. But this is, again, going to set apart. You'll be able to drill your hole, put your bolt in, mix your concrete, turn this thing upside down, and put it in there. You may have to prop it up against something. I didn't. I just put it all the way to the bottom and made sure it was big enough for your fist to get through there to use the dumbbell. And then you'll just let that side set up, and when it's all dry, screw the lids on. And then what I did, I used some flexible rubber coating and painted it just so it looked good. And it kind of gave it a plastic coating, and that way you can stick the Buff Dude stickers to it. Then you have a Buff Dude dumbbell. So if you want a heavier dumbbell, all you gotta do is get a bigger container, and they make these pretty large. This one is a 3-quart, and that'll be 6-quart total, which will give us about a 30-pound dumbbell. Perfect. That'll give you a good workout. 20 pounds, I could do this all day long. Oh, by the way, Buff Dudes, Buff Girls, I just want to say the comments on the first Do-It-Yourself Duke video were awesome. That really encouraged me to do another one. I know it's been a little while since I was able to. Been busy, but I'm going to start pumping these out like crazy. Well, at least one a month. So thanks again for the support. Look forward to doing some more videos. And I think I have a really cool do-it-yourself video coming up. Has something to do with the hammer. Anyway, Buff Dudes, Buff Girls, see you next time.